All right, so this is the first edition of the Boulder Giants video log, which is going to be a bit of a therapy session for me, so bear with me. So first on the agenda is the elephant in the room, which was last week's disgrace. Couldn't run the ball, 2.6 yards per carry is just paltry. Then we also didn't get the ball deep. I mean, there was one attempt, and there were only 3 opportunities where Eli could even throw the ball deep, and that's because of McAdoo's dink and dunk offense. And, you know, that's fine. You're going to get a high completion percentage, but you're missing out on a large part of the field, which also compresses the defense because you can't stretch them if they know you're not going for the deep threat. That also hurts the running game. 2.6 yards per carry. I wonder where that came from. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the history of the Giants with Reese, Accorsi, and George Young. So George Young, it was the beginning of my lifetime, and from 86 to 90, he built a solid team. And in those years, I mean, 87 with the strike, you know, who knows? The Giants should have been there. And if it wasn't for, Bill Tuna, that POS, being not so honest about his health conditions, and he put Ray Hanley. Come on. So anyway, it was all built from the offensive line, and that's crucial. That's how Dallas is winning games right now. I mean, it's not rocket science. Of course, he made a little bit of a move to the skill position players, but if you look at what he did in the late in his career, he put together an offensive line that gelled, and that's how you ended up with Super Bowl 2007 and 2011, right? So that was important. Reese has completely neglected the offensive line until 3 years ago when he drafted Pugh, who, by the way, is probably one of his better draft picks, but he also did draft Eric Flowers and stands by him, which is baffling. Right, so now let's go on to the Lions game because that's what we were here about, right? So this coming week, we have Odell Beckham is questionable. Now that's scary, right? But I did see him jumping and landing on it in practice, which is usually a good sign for being able to play. This is a little bit even more scary to me is B.J. Goodson. Now he had 18 tackles in his first start as a Giant. Now he didn't start last year, but he did play 70% of the snaps in his 15 games that he did play. He is the anchor. He is the future Mike of this football team, and it is imperative for him to keep getting reps and furthering his career as a Giant. Next, we got Bobby Hart. Now, that might explain his horrific performance last week and may contributed to why Eli couldn't get the ball downfield, why we only had 2.6 yards per carry. But this is actually a bit of an opportunity because we all know John Jerry's been just horrendous. And so if we could give Brett Jones a chance to come in and just show what he can do, maybe he can replace John Jerry. And DJ Fluker is also questionable, unfortunately, because that would be a good opportunity for him to get in there and do some platoon work, just get some reps. Now, let's talk about the Lions offense. They got 35 points last week against Arizona. That's 3rd in the league. That's kind of scary. Now, they also were 9th in offensive yards and 7th in passing yards. Now, the Giants' D played amazing last week. We all can recognize that. I mean, 19 points is a lot of points. However, they were on the field for an entire game in the first half. So, what we can look for with the Lions, a pair of rushers, Reddick and Abdullah, and the Giants have a stout rushing D. So I'm not that concerned about their rushing. However, they got this new rookie wide receiver, Goudelet, and he's looking pretty good. We need to get big plays from the defense. Read that as a turnover. That's what we need, D. Step up. We need the turnovers because the offense isn't doing their side. So Stafford averaged only just a little over 11 interceptions in his last 3 years. So it's probably not coming from an interception. We need to punch the ball out. All right, so the Lions defense, they gave up only 45 yards of rushing offense last year, which is 4th in the league. 2.5 yards per carry is tied for 5th in the league. That is scary with our offensive line and our offensive and our running woes. So the passing and points on their D was 22nd and 19th respectively. So we need to get the push down the field. We need to get the ball down the field at least 4 times per game. So that's an average of once a quarter. They need to get the ball down the field, not just these dink and dunk passes. Got to get Brandon Marshall involved early and often, especially if Odell Beckham's not going to be able to make it to play. Eli's got to get much more comfortable with this offensive line. I mean, I understand that it's scary and they're coming at you, and it could have been a lot more sacks if you didn't get rid of the ball as quickly. But you got to step up in the pocket. And I mean, this is what we have. So unless you're just giving up on the season, this is what we have to go forward with. And then let Mike Sullivan call the plays. Come on, McAdoo. Seriously, the offense does not pass the smell test when in the hands of McAdoo. There's been a major drop in rushing yards per carry and yards per game. He's too predictable. Every time they're trying to go for something, they're going to either run the ball or do a dink and dunk. You're not stretching the field at all. Gilbride, now that's somebody who everybody always said he was too conservative. Ran the ball. But you know what he did? When they were thinking, oh, he's running the ball again, that's when he went over the top. And just the defense either had to play back and let him run the ball more, or they get burnt for a big play and Odell Beckham's doing a little dance, or, we got a little salsa dance from Cruz. All right, that's the end of it. Come out to the Dark Horse in Boulder. Watch the games with us, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. We always drink. We have fun. And this week we'll be giving away a jersey. So come on out. We'll see you upstairs at the Dark Horse.